everybody have a chance to review the minutes of the last meeting? Is there any additions or corrections? It's been moved by Amanda. Second by Cale. All in favor? Approved. We need permission for clerk to pay insurance at time of billing, to pay utilities at time of billing, to pay utility incentives before the 25th of the month, to pay theater bills when due, and to pay payment service network bills when due.
So moved.
Moved by Larry.
Second.
Second by David. All in favor? Approved. Okay. Cody's not here. Visitor. You here, Bill, on the Scout Hut?
Yes.
Okay. I guess we can discuss that real quick before Elmer gets here and stuff. Lauren wasn't here tonight. He's going to look into ADA. JR and I went down and looked at it. We can make it accessible without too much problem, but we don't know where it's going to lead to. If it leads to everything has to be ADA, that means we're going to be $40,000 to $50,000 because we've got to tear off the bathroom and redo it. The bathroom on that was added, I don't know what year that was added, because that bathroom was there when I was at Boy Scouts. Then it got added on. There's a step up into that bathroom. That bathroom's so small. So we're waiting to see where we're going to end up. If we can make it just accessible for them, that's no problem. But if we have to go completely ADA, it's a problem. So until we have more information on that ADA, we're not sure where we can go. Because the outside cement deal wouldn't be that bad, and the inside we can make a ramp. And those two things wouldn't be that hard to do. It's just whether we'd have to do it. If they'd say, oh, you got to keep going, then we're in trouble. Because that building is not worth spending that kind of money on. Then you probably have to make two bathrooms. You'd have to, I don't know, it'd be quite a project. So we don't really have a true answer yet until we get that information back on how they're going to word that ADA. I hope they just say if it's made accessible for people to get in and out, then we're okay. So we're waiting on that. As soon as we know.
That's understandable.
Yeah. Yeah. Because we can do the two ramps. That's no problem.
Well, when I look at it, like senior citizens and stuff like that, you might want to see the kids and Girl Scout activities they can get down each ramp, or with those steps that can.
Yeah.
Just too dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully we'll have an answer quick after Lauren's back on that and find out, understanding what we have to do. So I shouldn't say, but sometimes it's better off if they don't know what we're doing and we make it accessible. But then once we do that, then they might force us to go further. Then it would be a matter of shut it down. Even if we spent that money, shut it down or spend a lot of money.
Or we're going to move building.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
If you have that kind of money tied up in it.
Yeah, because it's not the best. I mean, it looks nice and it's okay and it does its purpose, but it's not the best building by far. Sunk down in a hole like that, because it used to even be deeper than what it is, because that's a false floor in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They used to go down a couple more steps down onto the cement floor back in the days. So anyway, that's where we're at with that, Bill.
Okay. Well, thank you.
So hopefully we can get some more information quick and then decide what we can do.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
What time was Elmer supposed to be here?
Anytime.
He actually called earlier today and talked to Jen and said he wouldn't be here.
Oh,
so
okay.
he's
he won't.
not actually coming.
Oh, okay.
So-
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
He said something about he thought the topic was already going to be discussed, but he might have been thinking about this topic.
Oh, no. What Elmer was trying to get organized, if you don't mind me speaking, is there a community package to give newcomers coming into town, like we'll add the Lions Club birthday celebration calendar in there, pack of information about Cheyenne County to newcomers moving into St. Francis. And I don't know what a city, what you can provide or whatever, but that's what Elmer had in mind there. Some sort of.
Chamber used to do that
Yeah.
stuff.
The Methodist Church used to do it too, and I'll check on that and see if the Methodist Church still does it.
Okay.
Because they used to do it too when new people came to town, but I don't know if they still do or not.
Well, I know, as I've met new people that moved in, I've been given the Lions Club calendar. It's just an introduction.
Yeah.
But that's,
Well, it's a great deal for new people coming to town to give them calendars and all the information and, I mean, even some of the printed information we have here so they know
Yeah.
things about the city and stuff, and so the county and so forth. So, I mean, yeah, I think if the Methodist Church isn't doing it anymore, it'd be great that somebody wants to take it on. And I'd say we'd be totally behind it.
well, we've been talking about it at the Lions Club meetings. So.
David,
Okay.
do you think the Ministerial Alliance would take something like that on?
Maybe
If it's,
I can bring it up at the next meeting.
I'll check with some people at the Methodist and see if they're still doing it or what
Okay.
they
No.
want in their package.
Elmer had asked about the city being able to provide information as far as contacts, and we can't do that directly. We can't give out customer names and information, but we could, when people get utilities, we could ask them, are you interested in, a visit from whatever you guys decide to call it? And if they say yes and give us permission to provide their information, then we can do that. But we can't just give out information.
Oh, that's understandable.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about giving out information. It's just a welcome package, all that Elmer was talking about.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah.
I'm not sure when our next meeting will be. I have been the president, the treasurer, and the secretary.
All at one time.
So I fired myself about 3 times. And so, but I'm meeting with a new pastor on Thursday for coffee. So hopefully we can get this going again.
Okay.
Well, but anyway, that's where we are with the scout hunt, because we could make ramps, that's no problem. It's just that bathroom, that could lead into a major remodel.
Which I think, if I talked to JR, he's going to take me down. So I'd say it's been years since I've been in the scout hunt, that he was getting ready to leave town.
Yeah.
But I thought the rental agreement said it is not ADA compliant, or
I think it says something about their steps.
Okay.
I don't think it
Handicap
uses that
accessible.
terminology necessarily. I know it clearly states that there are steps into and out of the building.
Maybe it's not handicap accessible or something. I
Not
don't
sure that it
know.
actually says that. I think it just makes it clear that there are steps.
Yeah, and if we make it more accessible, and just make it clear that it is not a true
It's not
handicap accessible
a
building, but-
handicap ADA building, no. But then also, we're kind of doing it for a temporary deal, or supposedly is. So, you put that ramp inside, it takes up quite a chunk of the room along the wall there. And so, it's kind of, if we had handicapped Girl Scout and Boy Scout that needed to be in there and stuff, it's a whole lot different. But, if she gets out of that walking boot and not using a walker, she's not going to need it anymore.
Are 4-H clubs using it for
Yeah,
some?
there's one that uses it. I don't remember which one. I'd have
Is
to
there
look.
any other organizations?
Not currently.
But you can rent it.
Yes.
I was going to say, I think at alumni time, there's classes that rent it.
Yeah, and sometimes graduation parties, they'll rent it for that. And yeah, it gets rented occasionally.
I agree with Scott, we gotta be a little careful.
Mm-hmm.
We got to wait and find out, because if we put the ramps in and they say, oh, you got to make the bathrooms handicap accessible, I think whoops, sorry, I don't know what we do with the building then.
You'd have to close it, do you think?
I don't know.
You probably so, I guess.
I mean, is it just, because I know the church when we were talking about remodeling, we didn't have to, on an existing structure, we didn't have to go back ADA, but if we were building an addition or something new, it had to be ADA compliant. Is that the same?
I don't know.
That's what she's supposed to
Yeah, I
find
think it's
out.
kind of the same thing here. Once you start putting in the handicap ramps and stuff, I'm afraid we're gonna have to go to ADA. And that bathroom would not pass at all. In fact, I don't even know how you do the bathroom. We'd have to go in there and dig the bathroom, because what they did is they knocked a hole through the wall, because that was sunk in the basement, so it's about 2 feet deep. Well, we raised the floor a foot of it, so there's a good 8-inch step going into that bathroom. So you'd have to go in there and dig down and drop that bathroom down, so it'd be the same height as the floor. It'd be expensive. It won't be easy.
What's that building worth in your opinion, dollar-wise?
It probably really isn't worth a whole lot, $20,000. Because what can you use it for, other than what it's being used for?
Well, there are other venues here in town that, like the library and some other
Yeah.
things that you can access.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Senior
She didn't
center.
act like she could use the library, but
I think the problem with that is they have a lot of stuff. I
Yeah, they
remember
do.
being a scout leader.
And they
It's
can just
just,
go in and it's already there.
their crafts are there, their flags are there.
That's true.
It's a
That's
huge
what I just-
inconvenience to have to,
Haul all that stuff to the library
yeah,
and haul it all back
yeah,
and find a place to store it.
yes.
so if we have to go ADA, we can just say to her that we can't afford to spend that kind of money on that building that isn't worth that much, that you're going to have to do something temporary somewhere until you're out of your boot, and then go back down there. You know?
Are there any ADA compliant structures right now that they're doing too?
No, the library would be ADA.
Yeah.
No problem there.
Is it Equity still right there?
Hmm.
I think so.
It would be
No, if I knew. They
to get to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I understand what you say. They have all their stuff down there, and they go in there and they pull it out of the cabinets and stuff and have their meetings, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. So. Okay, well, let's move on, and I guess we call Justine and go over the
Let me give you her phone number here.
grant funds here.
Same one right here on the sticky note.
Oh, yeah. That'd be 8163?
8163.
Yep, she's expecting our call.
Hello, this is Justine.
Hello, Justine. It's Amanda with the City of St. Francis.
Hi, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. Can you hear me okay?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Hey, are you guys ready to go over drawdown number 1 for the CB grant?
Yeah, it looks like you did your work, so we'll listen to what you have to say.
Okay, so yes, I did go through all the businesses, and you can see on that page 2 of that cash disbursement report, all the businesses are on the left-hand side. So tonight what we're going to go through is we're going to hopefully approve this cash disbursement to give these businesses the CDBG CV grant. Also on this disbursement includes the meal program. They've expended $3,340.13, so we're going to reimburse them for that. And then my administration bill, $12,000. And then I'm just going to go through the businesses and their amount listed. Cowgirl Creations qualified for $1,457.50. Majestic Service LLC qualified for $8,039. Mill and Seed qualified for $20,262.50. Tolling Chiropractor qualified for $1,598.50. The Spencer House qualified for $829. The Lighthouse, $10,363.50. Majestic Service qualified for $40,525. Heritage Lumber qualified for $20,262.50. And Auto Barn qualified for $20,262.50. Now, I will tell you some of these businesses did qualify for more. There was a summary sheet that I sent Lila, and you can see that some of them did qualify for a little bit more. But with all of the businesses and what they actually requested and showed proof for, it was over your actual grant amount that we have. We have $123,600 eligible to give out. The total that everyone requested was $152,497.30. So I did just go ahead and prorate that to give everyone the same percentage. So those are the totals that I came up with. You guys don't have to accept this tonight. If you want to tweak numbers a little bit, we can. This has just been the easiest way that we have found to kind of prorate it and make it fair for everyone in the other communities. So with that, do you guys have questions or concerns prorating it or with this drawdown?
If you guys look at the next page, I don't know if you scrolled down to the next page, that's what she's talking about. It'll show what they actually were eligible for, and then what.
I think you've done a fantastic job because you've put a lot of work into it, and as far as I'm concerned,
Is Majestic two separate entities?
Subway.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they are, and they actually had two separate of everything, done number, all the qualifying features, so.
Okay, perfect.
Probably to get like this is what we agreed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody see anything that they'd like to see different? I don't know what it'd be.
Well, if you guys don't have anything else, I would just request a motion to request for payment of CDBG funds, request number 1, in the amount of $138,940.13 for grant number 20-BV116.
Okay, do I hear that motion? Been moved by Cale,
Second.
second by David. All in favor? We need to vote on this.
I think we should.
We probably better vote on this. Okay, David?
Aye.
Cale? Yep. Amanda?
Yes.
Dara? Larry?
Yes.
Okay, pass. Okay, we're good on that one.
Okay, so with that, you don't need a motion on the ER form. That's just a form that the state requires to turn in. It's for an environmental review, pretty much stating that with this money, they're not going to go rip up trees. We're just stating that they're using that money for, qualified expenses for their business. So I will get those changed, have the mayor sign those, and I will send those to Lila tomorrow. And then once you guys get those signed, I will send everything to the state. They've been taking about a week to review those, and then you guys will have your money within 7 to 10 business days. From then, I will write out a little ledger for Lila to write checks, and then you can just get those to your businesses.
Okay, the paperwork you already had out, because I didn't think I was going to be here, we had Amanda on it. I mean, we could go ahead and still let Amanda sign it.
That's totally up to the council.
I mean, I'm totally fine with it. That way you don't have to redo some paperwork and stuff. So is everybody on the council agree with Amanda signing it, President of Council? Okay, we're going to let Amanda sign it.
Okay, and then on that first page, there's 2 signatures. If I can just have you, Mr. Mayor, and Lila sign those, then we will be good. And if she can just scan that in tomorrow, I will get it sent over to the state tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, do you guys have any more questions for me?
Justine, I have one question. I just need clarification on this. When we get these funds, they will be automatically deposited into that bank account that we created for the CDBG funds. Once it hits the bank, is it correct that I have 3 days then to write those checks?
Yes.
Okay. I will need
Yeah,
a...
you have 30
Yeah.
days, and I will remind you when I get an email stating it'll be 10 to 7 days, then at 7 days I kind of shoot you an email just asking the status if you got it, so.
Okay. I'm going to ask the council then for a motion to disperse the funds as soon as they come into the bank. Because generally we only cut checks, sometimes on Fridays, usually on council meeting days, so anything out of the ordinary, I need the auditors to see that you approve that.
I so moved.
Yes, sir.
Okay, it's been moved by Darren, second by David. All in favor? Okay.
Justine,
Yes.
how many of these environmental review record forms do you need signed?
Just one copy of all of them. Let's see, 1, 2, 3.
There's one for each business.
There's one for each
There's
business.
9.
Okay, gotcha. I was like, oh, like a copy,
Yeah.
third, fourth, fifth. Gotcha, okay.
Yeah. So you guys will still have $31,659.87 for the food. So as they get more receipts, we'll do the same thing again, just draw down number 2 till we expend all that money. And then I won't request the rest of my admin until we close out the whole project. So that's kind of where we're at in the process that we will do moving forward. So
Is there a
do you guys have any
deadline
other
for that?
questions? It has to be expended within a year, and I believe the contract was August 1st. So you've got plenty of time to expend that.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time and effort into this, and
Absolutely. Sorry I couldn't be there. I'm double booked tonight.
that is fine. That it's a long ways to drive out here anyway, so.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, if there's nothing else, I will talk to you guys later.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Justine.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening. Bye-bye.
Well, the ones that applied, I hope that should make them kind of happy.
Was there any that applied that were declined?
No. Everybody that had turned in an application was eligible for something. Yep.
Was there many others that picked up, but this didn't?
Yes,
Yeah.
there were. I think they may have found, I don't really know, paperwork. There's a lot of paperwork involved, and if they kind of put it off to the last minute, they probably couldn't get it together. Because after the meeting on Monday, the last meeting, I did get a lot of calls on Tuesday. They were due on Wednesday. And Justine and I both tried to work with all of them to get the stuff in, and yeah.
Some of them will probably, after they find out, I wish they would have filled out the paperwork. We can't force them.
They may be able to ask for some of the grant funding from the county. I
County.
mentioned that earlier, that that would be another avenue that they could pursue.
Okay, next thing is property cleanup. I don't have much on that since JR's not here. I don't know if any of you ever see something, tell JR about it. I've been pointing out some things to him. He says, that's all you do anymore is drive around looking? Yep. Well, project's pending.
Do you guys want me to add the Scout Hut on there, or no? Okay.
I don't think so yet.
Okay.
After we find out from Lauren and the rest of it, then, because if we did, if it does have to go totally ADA, we're going to have to talk about it and figure out where we get the money to spend on it when we got a lot of other things we need the money for, so, especially no more than it's used. If there was a meeting there every night, all the time, you know, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, and 4-H and stuff all the time, then it'd be a little bit easier to spend the money. Okay, street project.
So We were supposed to have gotten something from Miller and Associates, but I didn't get anything, so I'm going to assume that'll come for the next meeting.
Pool report, Larry.
Well, I was pleased to see that revenue went up and expenses went down. Had a really good year. Let me find the information that Lyle was very generous to send me. Just to give you a quick rundown, I mean, expenses was down compared to last year.
Some of that was payroll.
Uh,
Some of that was payroll.
Yeah. Granted, we lost a couple weeks at the beginning of the season, but we also had a little extra time towards the end of the year, too. Concessions revenue was up. Private parties, $1,350, and I think that's one area that we can definitely improve on next year. We had a lot of people request private parties, but we kind of got caught with our pants down with the previous, what we've done in the past. I mean, I think we're charging $75 for a private party. That's definitely got to go up next year. I do think that we can definitely continue to do the private parties and maybe even figure out a way to do more private parties. I haven't had a chance to really look at the in-depth, how the wages compared to number of hours. I don't even know if I can get a good feel on that number of hours that employees work versus what our wages expense was. Our wages was about 10 grand less than it was last year. There really wasn't anything that jumped out at me that I was real concerned about just looking these over.
I think on the wages, every 2 weeks, the wages ranged from 4,000 to 5,000. So that I do feel like that 10,000 would be. I think the wages would be right in line with last year had we had that full season.
Yeah.
We did.
I think our concessions is doing what we intended it to do. Council kind of voted on to have the money coming back to the city. We're not making a lot of money, but I mean, a couple thousand here and there, it helps the bottom line. So, I don't know, do you have anything you need to add?
No.
Like I said, all in all, I'm pretty pleased with what I've seen from the reports. There's still some things that we want to work on and keep improving on. And we still need to get that concrete project done on the east side. I have talked to the Rec Commission a little bit. I have not gotten a definitive answer whether or not they'd be willing to donate, help us out with some of that. And I guess the next thing, once we get this COVID and stuff behind us, I mean, there are a lot of things we didn't have this year. We didn't have swim lessons. We didn't have, we really didn't have much for swim team, not the length of time that we've had in the past. So I definitely think there's more room for increased revenue next year, especially when things settle down. Sounds like we're going to have a fair amount of these kids coming back. I can't really think of anything else. I think Kelly and Terry and all the kids did a pretty good job this year, and we're pleased to have all their input and tremendous response from the community. Everybody seemed to be really pleased about how the pool went this year. And I haven't heard anything that I would consider negative at all about this year, which is odd with some of the challenges we face at the pool. But everything ran well. They took care of things really well. The pool was clean, which was, I also think, contributed to having a lot more ladies in aqua size 'cause that was one of the complaints we had last year, is there were several ladies that just left, and they walked in and turned and left, but, we were very pleased with how the pool ran this year. City did their part, and then some. We just didn't have to be there all the time, which is a huge relief to JR and I. We weren't constantly having to be in there like we have been in the past, checking up on things. And I think we had good staff.
When we started the year off this year, I know it was funded by a business, kind of the first day.
Opening day?
Mm-hmm. What do you guys charge to do that? I've had someone ask.
They charged actual admission, however many.
Well, like if you were to have someone pay for the opening day.
They can either donate a certain amount, or they can pay for the actual admission. Like that day, she paid for however many people came to the pool.
Okay.
Whether it was.
So you don't set a minimum.
I'm not following what you're asking.
How much it was that day?
We can look.
I'd have to go back.
I don't
and
have
see.
that right now, but we can sure look that up. Always in the past, we've charged, and I don't know if this is an auditor thing, that we have to charge the actual admission to the pool, regardless of who pays for it.
Sure.
Kind of like the theater. It doesn't matter who pays for it, it has to be the
I
admission cost.
I might be able to tell you.
And I'm pretty sure that's the same thing with the pool.
Do you think you'll be raising the rate? You was going to this year, and then that didn't. So in comparison to other
I'm
cities?
still, I had a lot of people, well, I shouldn't say a lot of people, but I had certain people fight me on even wanting to raise the rates. Pretty much the pool board, for the most part, was fine with going to, we had talked about $3 and $1.50, but then we backed it off to $2 and $1. And I'm not sure at this point we want to go any more than that, because I think it does draw people in. I think where we can really make it more of a revenue stream would be from the private parties, and really bumping that up, because I think people are still going to book them, even if we...
And that's the reason why I was asking about the sponsoring the first day, because that first day was y'all were packed. Because
I can't put my...
And so if you get someone in there, their business is getting publicized for doing this, it's a win-win for everyone.
Sure it is. And I can't tell, I mean, I'm looking at 616, but I can't break down whether it was, I'd have to give it to Lila to find out. I want to say, off the top of my head, I was thinking it was $350 to $400. But don't quote me on that.
Okay.
I'd have to nail down the exact deposit on what it was.
Yeah, and that'd be easy for me to look up.
Okay.
And if you want me to go look it up now, it'd take me a couple of
Well,
minutes to go look
I
at
think
it.
it's on here, I just don't know the exact dates and when the deposits were put in. Normally they're the next day.
And we always date, when we put it into our software, we always date the date that the money came in, not the date that it goes into the bank. So we can track the revenue by day. And we can track it by private party is separate, admissions. Admissions does include the aqua size. We have a way to separate out swimming lessons, but we didn't have those this year. But
Yeah. Well, just to give you an example, excuse me, 610 was $242, 611 was $160, 612 was $357, but where those, what day that actually reflects, I'd have to get with Lila on something like that. I just was thinking that it was $350 to $400 for that opening day. And we've had some other businesses like the Rec Commission has kicked in and sponsored some deals too, but we do not tell them a flat amount. It's per admission.
Per admission. Okay.
That's another big reason why I think we need to drastically raise our rates for the private parties. And that's, we goofed, for lack of a better word. We should have gone ahead. We didn't really talk about that. We didn't know what to expect, because we've only had 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 over the last few years on average for private parties. So I mean, we weren't ready for it. but boy, did they turn out good. We had really good attendance for some of the private parties. And then there were some people that may have had 20 people. Just invited some friends, some small groups, which is fine too. But I definitely think we want to go at least $150. That's something we'll have to talk about on the pool board and stuff. But I do think, and I don't know exactly how many parties she ended up with. I have to go back and try to track that as well, but
That'd be
definitely
easy to
some
find.
potential there. Huh?
That'd be easy to find.
Okay. I didn't have any concerns, and after seeing the numbers after Lila sent them to me, I was very pleasantly surprised. So, we'll just keep plugging away.
Y'all met with a lot of challenges at the beginning of this year, so you did a good job.
But we had a lot of people that kicked in to help, and we got started on the right foot. We were ready to go. We pushed hard. But everybody kind of kicked in and did what they needed to do, which was a huge help. So, that's all I really have, guys. Unless anybody has any other questions.
I hear a motion to accept and file the pool report. Moved by Amanda, second by Kayla, all in favor. Approved theater report.
They had a meeting last night.
Yeah, I tried to.
I didn't make it. They didn't have quorum, so they couldn't really do anything. Robert did call today to say that the 2 new employees aren't, one of them has already quit and the other one may not be working out because he doesn't want to work the number of hours that are required for the job. So they'll probably be looking at hiring some more. But so that's about all they talked about.
Okay. Okay, we don't have building permit, superintendent report, no attorney report, clerk report.
Other than I had something on that attorney report. What was
The
that?
ordinance.
The ordinance?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah.
We do have. And that wasn't an agenda item because I wasn't sure that I was actually going to get it in time, so I just put it down there in the attorney report.
Well, the question is, the approved address numbers, who approves the address numbers? Because I know we had some discrepancy with some homeowners with what they have as an address and what we have as an address.
Who sets the 911 addresses?
The appraiser's office is what I was told.
Oh,
But I confer with Eric on that, and we actually through his,
Eric.
Harper in
Oh.
dispatch. So I do confer with him and I do confer with the city, so, I mean, all 3 of us are in agreement usually if we set an address, but I just
So
know
is
that
the 911 that's different?
we have some properties that have,
I would say the approved number is what those 3 entities say the approved number is.
yeah.
I mean, that's the 911 address that's going to be used for dispatch. That's
Mhm.
got to be what's on the house, don't you think? I mean, if that's one of the intents of this is
Yeah.
for emergency personnel, then it has to be the right address.
Mm-hmm. But I do know we have a couple of, that I can think of off the top of my head that are wrong,
the actual number's wrong?
what they have on the outside of the house is
Oh.
not what we have. So,
Well, then what do you do about, like, one of the last meetings, we were talking about someone that wanted to change their number since they were facing a certain street versus,
Well, they changed the way their door faces. But they're fine with it, the way it is. They're gonna just put their number out there on that corner post, and you can read it from each direction, so.
Okay.
I told them, I said, we're gonna require the numbers on the house or on the post by your front door, and I said, if you put it on that outside corner, you can read it from each direction, so.
Would those just be exceptions then, that somebody would, if they didn't want to comply with what we have, they'd need to come with a compelling argument otherwise?
yeah, I don't know how we handle it, and I know Eric and I have tried to, when we find addresses that are incorrect, try, like, if it's going on the market, it's an easier time to change it than when you have somebody that's already using the existing address. So I know we're trying to remember, if we see, one of them that's incorrect go on the market, then try to get with the new owners and address that that way. Some of them are,
Surely you don't have very many of them.
no. There's I said a handful.
They're probably the ones that are on the corner, and you don't know which way their doors are facing, or they changed their doors, how they faced them too.
I know Francis Street, the numbers go the wrong direction. So I know there's, I don't know
Yeah,
how you would ever.
but that has like always been that way. And if that's what's on record, then that,
Just leave it as,
I would think, I wouldn't think we'd want to be changing that.
Do we want them on the same place on every house?
At every house, yeah. It'd be hard to.
I think it needs to, all it needs to say is be visible from the street, whether you have it on a post on your porch or up on the, right next to your door, but it needs to be visible from the street.
And that's
On the
what it does
structure,
say
not
that.
on the curb.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
I would
right.
say it would have to be on the structure.
Yeah, because those on the curb, the kids did that for a fundraiser, and that was nice. But cars parked there, you can't read the number. And so it needs to be up on the building to where it's visible.
It doesn't really say that.
Surely we need somewhere in there that it's visible from the street.
Well, it says that, but it doesn't say it has to be on the building.
I don't think it has to be on the building.
Oh.
There's a lot of people that have a porch and they have a post, they're going to put them on that post.
Right.
Instead of on their
gotcha.
building.
But would
Yeah.
there still be on the building if it's on the post on the
It
porch?
is, it is.
Seems to me.
As long as it's visible from the street, by the door, preferably, and that's where they're supposed to be, by their front doors or their main door.
Ours is above our garage, but it's plainly visible.
But anybody comes to our front door, we don't answer it. So the police and the fire department can knock all they want. We figured if they come knock on our front door, it's somebody peddling something, we don't answer
They
it.
should know you gotta come to the back door.
Yeah, they gotta come to the back door. I'm trying to get the new UPS guy convinced of that too. No, but that's where it's gotta be, by your front doors. So do we need to approve this tonight, or is this just
You can if you,
has everybody had a chance to read it? Everybody good with it?
What's the penalty for not having it?
2 years.
2 years in prison? Federal?
Article 16, Section 16.
And that's the other thing, if we prove it tonight, is it 90 days after it's approved tonight? Or 90 days after it's made public? What's it say?
It says after it's published.
Published, okay.
Let me look at what this, it says penalized pursuant to Article 16, so let me look that up.
Somebody made a comment that not everybody reads the paper.
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
Not everybody reads the paper.
Not everybody gets
Put
the
something
paper
on with
anymore.
the city building.
Should put it in the building, yeah.
City building, then they would get word of it.
We might want to, with that said, delay publishing this until it corresponds with the mailing of our utility bills, so that 90 days is consistent. If they don't get the notice until they get it in the utility bills,
Give them full 90 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Let me see, 16,
Yeah, that's smart.
16.
Better let True Value and Heartland down there know they better get some numbers in.
Oh, well, so 16-211, which is what it references here, I don't want to read the whole thing, but in a nutshell, any violation and any person who violated or maintained any violation of any of the provisions of this article, or who shall fail to comply therewith, or with any requirements thereof, or who shall build in violation of any detailed statement or plans, be guilty of a misdemeanor, and upon conviction thereof shall be fined not more than $500, and each day during which such violation shall continue shall constitute a separate offense.
How much?
Dang.
I don't think that's what you guys,
No, I
No,
think what we
uh-uh.
said.
I think that's what you said. So I
Should
don't,
the minutes what we said last night?
I don't think so, because I think we just kind of talked about it, and Lauren was going to put something together.
I don't like that steep penalty.
And they kind of need to know what the penalty is too. What that ordinance, yeah. Or section.
I thought we talked about,
So that we need to have this revised and have what the penalty will be. So when this gets mailed out to them with their utilities, they know what it is.
so what is it, because we'll need to then have it at the next meeting, what is it that you guys want?
Well, I thought there was something about $50 to start with.
So what do you do with a property that is rented? It's not the renter's responsibility.
No, it would go to the homeowner.
So you're going to have to put out separate letters to the homeowners?
Yeah, we're going to have to get something to the homeowner of rental properties because,
That's a good point.
yeah, the renter's not going to worry about it. You'd hope the renter would say, hey, to the homeowner, hey, look what you got to do, but they won't.
When did we talk about that?
Well, I thought we said something about $50, and then after
Oh, yeah.
several months, it'd be more of a fine, but
I can go back and listen to those minutes.
Why it would be a misdemeanor, that seems ridiculous.
no, I think,
Yeah, $50 or 25 or whatever, and then
Yeah, and something that you
$10
don't have to
first
track,
time.
you
Give 'em a
know,
week
you just
to-
know when they,
to resolve in case they got order numbers. And
you
then-
know what I mean, is that you have to keep track of,
what's in.
oh,
We're
yours
gonna-
is 50 and yours is this, you know, you need to something,
Well, I think that's what she was trying to do with this.
oh, the $500, yeah. Yeah, that's cheap.
yeah,
Seems
that's
insane.
not.
But you're still going to give 90 days or so to take care of this.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Right.
And who's going to keep track after
25
days?
bucks.
Nobody.
That makes his job fun.
Mine? Well, I
Will
wouldn't have
you
to
even want to have to keep
track.
up?
JR would probably have to be driving
They happen
around,
to see it.
like property cleanup, and he'd report the ones that don't have it.
Give 'em a week after the 90 days. Numbers can't cost more than.
We talked about, I know one of the things we talked about was if it didn't get done, then kind of like a yard, we could just go to the forum, but the problem is you can't just go and start putting stuff on someone's house.
No, it would be any different than like yard cleanup or something. I mean,
Like a
I
shot.
don't think you could actually do anything to the property. You can get away with going and cleaning up your yard, but that you could actually go up and modify the property.
It'd be nice if there was a group or something. Letting you do,
Yeah, because that'd take time to go around and check numbers to see if everybody's got numbers.
you know, something, you know, call us and we'll come in, or put numbers up for you. You know, some of the older people maybe, I mean, they may have, you know, I think call somebody.
They may need help with it regardless.
But, you know, it just might be done.
So does anybody know, are there really a ton of houses that don't have numbers?
Yeah,
There are.
mine doesn't.
Mine doesn't.
Are you gonna apply for one?
I don't know. I don't know what my number is. Mine used to have a number on it years ago.
Huh.
Probably 30 years ago, there was a number on it.
Really?
Right. After we cited and repainted, we never put the numbers back up. I'll bet you half the homes don't have numbers.
Neither do I have numbers, so. Yeah, Scott and I are looking for numbers here.
My building across the street, Walmart, doesn't have a number on it.
I could see more non-residential buildings not having addresses.
But it does say in here, all commercial buildings and buildings because I read that because I was thought, that would be a question that somebody would say, well, I've got just a garage or a building, and do I have to have it on there? But really, it's for 911. If your building's on fire or somebody gets hurt on your property, it still needs to have a number on it.
I'm going to go back and listen to the minutes, because I know you guys talked about the dollar amount, and it wasn't this.
No,
No.
I think it should be like a $20 or $25 a month penalty after the 90 days.
Yeah, something.
I think
Just
she was-
something that would say, get it done, get it done, get it done, but nothing like that.
She was saying it had to be something that was enforceable, like that would be hard to enforce.
It would.
And she needed something to be able to enforce. But that seems like a lot.
Who's going to be responsible for checking?
Again, it would be like JR doing the weed check. They would just, he drives around and looks for the weeds and stuff.
We
It'd be
just have
kind of
to
the
see 'em
same
probably.
thing. Yes, and then report it, write a letter like we do. That would be what I would anticipate would happen. Give them a warning letter, look, you haven't complied, here's your first warning, and then if they still don't comply, then they do like the weeds and the property cleanup stuff, and it becomes
Yeah.
Lauren's issue. But,
That makes sense.
but what do you want me to, do you want to make, me to make call her with a recommendation from you guys?
Yeah, what's everybody think? 'Cause
No more than 50 bucks. I mean, it's house numbers.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
What's that?
Well, I thought we had discussed, like, the first initial offense was $10, and then the next time it was 25, and then it was 50, like, give them fair warning that
Right.
you've been notified. The
Yeah.
first time it's not that much, second time it gets a little bit steeper to, I thought we had discussed that.
How you
Yeah,
gonna-
we're something like that.
how you gonna
And I
enforce
know
it?
it's just house numbers, but it's also for 911 purposes, so it is
Yeah.
pretty important.
And
It is,
you'd have a
but it's their own fault. It's
Is
just,
it?
Yeah.
Letters too.
they gotta call
So
911,
as
oh,
they're-
what's your house number? I don't know. Really?
And when it's in the paper too, I mean, if it was like an article that said something about, this is why we are
Yeah.
enforcing
Yeah.
this. We're not just being
And I think we
the
discussed
big bad
that,
boss.
we discussed that last week as well.
Yeah.
Maybe along with house numbers, we should also put a sign of whose house it used to be.
If you were of this age group,
Yeah.
it used to be so-and-so's house. If you were of this age group, it was so-and-so's house.
Because that'll be the next thing 911's gonna ask. Who used to live there?
Those numbers still
Have
won't
the-
do a whole
the
lot of
lineage
good
of
for
the house.
myself.
Yeah, half the people won't.
It's for 911
Yeah.
and JR and the police and stuff, so they,
Well, I can see, I mean, they've got EMTs coming from Bird City, they don't know whose
Yeah.
house is it.
Right.
Vice
Yep.
versa, if we had people from St. Francis going to Bird, they wouldn't know so-and-so's
Yeah,
house.
exactly.
I mean,
We're still the talking house.
it's still hard enough
Yeah.
to remember streets.
Grocery store
yeah.
street and the other street.
Okay, what do we want for numbers on that? As far as the fine, as we go forward.
First time.
I said, I thought we had discussed that last meeting, it had.
I thought so
I
too.
missed out last meeting. I didn't make it, so.
I don't know if it was specific enough, though. It seems like there was, I'll have to listen to it. It seems like she had said we wanted something significant enough to where it didn't drag on and on and on. And, you know, I felt like that's what she'd said, but I don't know.
So how about the first time is $20 and you have 30 days and then it's $100.
I just would lead with that in whatever publication you're going to put out.
Yeah.
Because you want to expect people to do the right thing. You want to
Yeah.
you want to assume they're going to do the right thing, and you want to guilt them into doing the right thing. And if you explain to them this is for 911 purposes, who wouldn't want to do that? You know, then I don't feel too bad if we have to try someone after that.
Yeah.
You know, if they're still not compliant.
agree with what Cale said?
I still think $100 is way too high, but.
That's the second warning.
I still think that's.
People are gonna forget the first time, probably. A lot of people are gonna forget. So make it light.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I don't know.
Make a motion, Gail.
Somebody else has gotta have an idea. I don't know.
And are we making a motion without the person who's gonna have to enforce this being here?
Well, if you want her to come up with something by the next meeting, she's going to need guidance, what you guys are really looking at.
So 20 and 50? Is that what you're thinking? So you got 90 days, then you got another 30 days until you might be fined. If you're caught after the 120, what was it, 100? Can't even think right now. Jesus, 120 days. Yeah. 120 days.
120 is out of line.
$20.
I think 100 way
So
out of line.
that's 4 months gives you time to get numbers in your house. Unless they're shipped from China, then you might need 6 months. I don't know. And then 30 days after that, then it goes to 50. So
Wait a
it's
minute.
half a year to get numbers on your house almost.
As long as you don't keep bumping it after that.
Yeah. And if someone keeps refusing, I guess you can just keep
You
charging.
need to
every
go
month.
25, 50, and 75, that's our 3 months, so $25 a month, and each month it's gonna bump up again, 25, 50, 75.
$150, so.
Yeah. Yeah, when
Would that be
numbers,
enforceable?
when numbers literally
I mean,
cost
for her
probably
to
$5.
say, hey.
That's the question,
Yeah.
is it enforceable?
Or if you make the motion based on her.
But I think
I mean, I
Warren's
think
gonna have
that-
it higher than that, and we don't
Yeah.
like that.
I know.
And a misdemeanor, top of that.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Drag you out of your house.
Turn people into criminals for not getting numbers. Come on.
Well, it's fined
do that.
not more than $500, so it
Not
could
more
be
than
less.
that, yeah. So what's everybody think? Shall we just put it down as 25, 50, and 75, and then let Lila listen to the last tape and see if she finds what we said then,
Yeah.
and then she can kind of relay either one of those two to Lauren, but we don't want to make it so bad that people would be in here.
Yeah.
Everybody agree with that? Okay, let's go that route
Okay.
right now.
When I listen to those minutes, I'll send you all an email and let you know
Yeah.
what was said for sure, and I'll make sure I get this in the minutes. Sorry. There had to have been a reason why I didn't put the specifics in, and I think it was Lauren was gonna, I don't know. I'm gonna just have to listen to it again. Maybe
You
we
can get
won't.
an assortment of numbers on Amazon for $2. That's very expensive.
Yeah.
It's not, nobody's going to want to get fined. I mean, spend $2.
There's a-
numbers.
There's a few people in this town that have 10, 12 buildings.
No, that's true. That's the cost of about $25.
Yeah. Yep.
That's true.
Okay. All right.
Is that all you have?
Oh, well, no, are we on to my clerk report?
Yeah, your clerk report.
I just have a couple of things. At a previous meeting, council had approved $6,000 for that additional work on the alley approaches. We did get the invoice from Brock McAtee, and it's a little more than that, but the work, as JR explained, had to be done. We really didn't have a choice. But for the auditors, I am going to need a motion to, the total bill was $6,878. So I'll need a motion to approve the additional $878 for the alley approaches.
So moved. Second.
Been moved by Cale, and second by Larry, all in favor, approved.
Kale and Larry. And then this bill missed our bill cycle today. It got unchecked and didn't get paid, so I'll need to pay this on Friday. It's just the sales tax that we pay every month. It just got unchecked today. So, but in order for me to pay it out of cycle, I need a motion to pay the Kansas sales tax out of cycle on Friday.
Moved by Dara,
Second.
second by Amanda, all in favor, approved.
And then I do need to request 5 minutes of executive session for non-elected personnel for shared sick leave.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to accept and file the clerk report?
So,
Moved by Cale, second by Amanda, all in favor. Okay, council comments. David?
I have nothing.
Cale?
nothing here.
Amanda? Claire?
How is the, I know Jared's not here, but how's the poles?
They got pulled off. The utility crew got pulled off for the hurricane. They left last Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
So they pulled off to go down to Louisiana.
It might be back fairly quick, they might not.
Right. So,
Carol, when was the filming crew coming?
Um,
Ivan, were they here
Yes.
today? Okay, 'cause I was like, when are these guys pulling up? It was right at 5 o'clock, I was leaving
Yeah.
work, and they came over here to the city office,
So-
and they left right away, so.
Producers, I think, when you called that day, they
Yeah.
came up and we walked through and
Yeah.
looked at everything. And then today, I think it's the film crew that want to come tomorrow and look through it. So I'll be showing them tomorrow. I don't know if Cody has gotten everything out of there, but I'm kind of leaving it up to Cody because it's his
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
If he says it's okay, I guess it's okay.
We need to stay on top of that so we get that. Same with the equipment in that car,
You know,
Get
that,
out.
I don't know what this is out here in the hall, and I wonder if that didn't come out of the car and somebody brought it in and stuck it in here. There's been equipment
yeah,
out
I
here.
think that's out of that car.
That's what I was wondering. It just showed up.
Yeah, I know what you're, yeah, I saw that there, yeah.
So, but yeah, they should be here. I'll
week
talk to
or
the
next week?
film crew tomorrow, and they're very
Where are they all
nice people.
going?
A few spots around town, and I think there's some places in the country too, maybe.
What was that supposed to be a film about?
It's about I think it's about an accidental murder, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, accidental murder. Involuntary manslaughter. Something like that, second
Yeah.
degree, something like that. Yeah. I don't remember all the other details. I know they didn't find the house they wanted to shoot in, so they're going to do those scenes in a house in Denver. So they got all the other stuff they found locally. So that's good. They should be here about a week to 10 days, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah. And they might be shooting some scenes, wasn't there going to be some at the courthouse or in front of the courthouse?
I don't know.
I think they might be doing a small scene maybe in the front of our place, and then I'm not sure where else. Let's see, gas station scene. I don't remember.
Well, they need to come shoot down on the River Rock right now,
That'd be good.
because it's pretty down there.
Yeah, it would be.
So maybe we'll have more than just one movie star in town like Johnny Woodcock.
Maybe. Maybe he'll be shooting. Where do you work again? Yeah, never mind. You don't work up there anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they come up with. Okay, Larry.
Jack Lampy had called me. I don't know if he's contacted anybody else. He's expressed concerns about the alley. If I understand him right, he's concerned about the alley behind the Lampy Apartments. And I don't know. I drove it the other day. I couldn't tell anything wrong with it. It's always been an alley. It's always been dirt.
Lampy Apartments?
Yeah.
Behind First National, that one that goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you don't know what his concern was?
Well, I took it, the way, if I understood what he was trying to tell me on the phone, is he thinks it's too dirty, and it's getting a lot of the cars back there dirty.
Yeah,
It's dirt.
yeah, he told me that too. He said,
Okay.
go out and he complains about too much traffic. Well, you know, some of the people that leave the bank
Mhm.
go that way too. And, yeah,
Alley, I don't know how you restrict
you
people
don't,
from using.
you don't.
He has called frequently.
Yeah,
He asked me to stop by his apartment, I did, but I didn't.
Who was it again?
yeah, Jack Huntley.
I didn't catch my home the day I stopped, so.
And JR knows about it. It's just there's nothing really that can be done.
And
It's
that-
an alley.
He's lucky that street, that alley's flat, it don't get washed out. Like some of the alleys that are going downhill get washed out and got ruts in them and stuff. He's lucky on that part. Well, he did complain one time about a big mud hole back there, and there was a little spot. And I think JR put some rock or gravel in there, but you can't slope it a bunch down there, it's flat, so.
That's all good.
Okay. The VFW, they'll be at the next meeting. They're wanting to put up a Veterans Memorial there in the park. So they've got some ideas. I went and looked at it with one of the guys the other day. I'm trying to get him to move his, where he was wanting it. I said, no, there's 2 spots that are better than that. So they're going to try to flag it out maybe toward this weekend. So if you see any flags over in the park, stop and look, and that's going to be the couple areas where they're going to maybe want to put this. They want to find the pour cement, and it's going to be about a 12 or 15 foot octagon type deal, and they want to put up a gazebo, kind of like what the state put over there, well, clear over by Goodland and Sharon Springs and out here over the Hager. They want to put something over the top of it and stuff so it'll look nice. So they're wanting to do it pretty nice and stuff. So
In Sawville, on the east side?
yeah, there's a couple places it'd be fine. It isn't going to hurt anything. So
Where are they putting the heritage statues?
don't know. They've never come back with that either.
I didn't know where they're at with that, if they'd already put it.
I think they're still trying to raise money for that project too. So anyway, they'll, like I said, if you see some flags up there, go take a look and stuff, but they will come at the next meeting and visit about it, and they'd like to do that. And I even mentioned the roadside park, I think would be nice, and even rename roadside park to the Veterans Memorial Park, you know, and just totally make it something different. But then I also realize that maybe a little more vandalism can happen up there and stuff. But I said, we're wanting to try to start dressing that up there by doing bathrooms and doing stuff. And so by them doing that, that would help, and some other things. Maybe we could start dressing that up a little nicer. But
What about the courthouse park? I mean, we just call it the courthouse park, but it's not really part of Sawhill Park, is it? Could it be like renamed? You know, the one behind the courthouse?
But there's too many things over there.
Oh, that's true, the playground.
And then they, you know, they don't want kids climbing up on this and that.
Sure.
You know, the one in Imperial is, wow. They put a $60,000 bronze statue in it, and they said they don't have the funds to do that, but they just want to put up a nice gazebo. Then in the center, it'll have some deals going around there with the names on them. It's basically what it's going to be. With benches. There'll be, I think, 5 benches that'll sit in there too, going around it. So, but anyway, they'll come at the next meeting. So, okay, well, let's review the bills real quick, and then we'll go into executive session.
What's that dog boarding?
Yeah.
That was a dog. That might have been, I'm not sure if that was the one, the neglected dog, or the one that attacked the cow. I'm not sure which one that one is. But it's called, you'll see it's restitution. The city's getting reimbursed for that by the
Yeah.
person,
Okay.
but we had to pay the bill.
Right.
Why did it take so long to pay it?
Lots of reasons why that didn't get taken care of in a timely fashion. If it's the neglected dog,
I was
yes.
gonna say, I just saw that it was 5/13 was the invoice date.
Yeah,
That we-
Yes, there was some hiccups in the court system and stuff, but,
Have they been using them?
once, I don't think they had court last month. But I think it worked fine for him back here.
Scott, have you heard anything new about Hill Trash? And you don't have any concerns about people are changing the way they're gonna do things? Heard anything?
I haven't heard anything. I'm sure there's probably somebody out there.
Do you know if Cody's fully staffed? Or they're losing another person?
He lost it on person now.
And
Sean's leaving. Is anybody else, do you know?
I don't
You've got the
think
two in the academy, which should be
Okay.
finishing up. Are they?
I think they're about done, aren't
I
they?
think they're
Should
all.
be.
They were about done when he mentioned that last meeting, and then he said he didn't know if he's even gonna replace another guy. He said
Wait to see
he
them.
was waiting and seeing now. Any other questions on the bills? Do I hear a motion to approve the bills on ordinance 1043?
So moved.
Moved by Amanda,
Second.
second by Cale, all in favor? Approved.
And do you have the warrant there?
Oh, I do have one more thing I need to say.
Too late.
Do you know how you guys were giving me such a hard time about realizing that the meeting was tonight? At the last meeting?
Oh, I was.
And everything just went right over my head? Well, my alarm went off yesterday afternoon for council meeting. My wife texted me and said, "Do you have council tonight?" I said, "Yeah." I get all the way home, I change my shirt, I come all the way downtown, come to the stop sign, look over here, and it's like,
Oh, boy.
I came close to it too, yesterday.
everybody threw me off when they gave me such a hard time at the last meeting.
Okay, somebody want to make a motion for going into 5 minutes of executive session?
Make a motion to go into executive session for 5 minutes for non-elected personnel, for what was the,
Shared sick leave.
for shared sick leave with everyone in the room, to resume at 8:20.
Second.
Second by Cale.
Okay.
Good? Okay, do I hear a motion to approve shared sick leave?
I'll go.
Been moved by David,
Second.
second by Cale. All in favor? Approved. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved. Cale seconded it.
Second.
All in favor, get up and leave.